Good God, the allegedly cash-strapped Church of England have found 100 million quid down the back of the sofa to apologise for slavery. The sum was announced by Justin Welby, the Archbishop of Canterbury, after a commission investigating church investments concluded that some of their wealth was accumulated after initial investments with the South Sea Company. At the time, it traded in slaves. The fund is to pay for a programme of investment, research and engagement and to help communities affected by historic slavery. Now, slavery is, in my view, up there with genocide as the most egregious human crime in history. But is it the Church of England's job to expend their energy and precious donations to atone for it, particularly when the scale of the C of E's links to slavery is challenged this week by top historian Robert Toombs, co-editor of History Reclaimed, who this week wrote in The Telegraph, "In their evident desire to make a splash, those responsible have both exaggerated the Church's involvement with slavery and, rather more reprehensibly, exaggerated their own response today." How unchristian. The history of all empires is stained by the blood and tears of human suffering. But what we're seeing here in this policy is the kind of hand-wringing piety that has infected so many of our great institutions like academia, museums, the arts, and now the Church of England. Self-flagellating, hair-shirt-wearing Britain bashing has become a national pastime, particularly enjoyed by the powerful elite. It's all part of a narrative that says the UK is a dreadful country with a shameful history. Now, slavery was shameful, but Britain led the world in tackling it and bringing it to an end. I went to a big museum recently to look at an early steam engine prototype. I know how to live. But a sign next to it linked this miraculous device to our colonial past. It's a bloody steam engine. Can't we just enjoy its majesty and marvel at a great British innovation? Now, of course, we must learn about slavery at school and beyond, absolutely, and never repeat that evil crime again. But this fund, set up by Welby as church roofs creak, homelessness spirals and parishioners struggle with the cost of living, is also a nod to the idea of reparations, although the Church are keen to stress it is no such thing. Interest from this fund will go to impacted communities overseas. Well, whether it's reparations or not, sounds like semantics to me. Why should parishioners already on their knees pay for the crimes of the past? Where do you start with that can of worms? Should we hit the Swedes up for a few billion quid based upon the behaviour of the Vikings? Should young Germans who have only read about the Second World War pay reparations for that? And if you're going to address slavery, why not deal with the slavery that's happening right now, as demonstrated in this brilliant new book, Cobalt Red, How the Blood of the Congo Powers Our Lives, by Siddharth Kara. This book reveals that thousands of children and teenagers right now, today, are working 12-hour shifts, knee-deep in mud, mining for lithium and other precious elements. All to support the green agenda of which the ever right-on Justin Welby is such a fan. This increasingly politicised faith leader has made pronouncements on the Rwanda plan to relocate asylum seekers as their applications are processed. He's pronounced on net zero and every other contentious bandwagon. Now, the Church of England would argue they are serving God's will in the fight against evil, of which slavery is a perfect example. If the Church has amassed a fortune off the back of human suffering, it's understandable they wish to recognise that. And I guess Welby thinks it's unchristian to destroy the planet or curtail human rights in relation to the government's border policy. I understand all of that. But in relation to the 100 million quid on non-reparations reparations, where is this money coming from? As vicars are being laid off, as parishes merge to save cash, and as church buildings fall into disrepair. As the Telegraph's excellent cartoonist Blower pointed out this week, the church roof appeal has been replaced by the historic Apology Fund. Why wasn't the Archbishop more vocal in his criticism of, in my view, the deeply unchristian COVID measures? As healthy people were locked in their homes, as funerals became a socially distanced farce, and as churches closed their doors to parishioners at a time when they needed their faith more than ever. Now, of course, the church didn't make the rules. I'll grant you that. Lockdowns were a matter of law. But given the societal, human and economic damage from what, in my opinion, was a failed experiment to stop a virus, why was Welby on that occasion so deafeningly silent? If I'd been a cleric, I'd have been campaigning to keep churches as well as schools open the whole time. I'm not a cleric, of course. I'm far too sinful. They wouldn't have me anyway. In my view, Welby's 100 million quid fund to say sorry for the past has the strong whiff of woke about it, a divisive ideology that threatens the future of this great institution. Welcome to the modern, new-look, plant-based Church of England 2.0. May God forgive them.